Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Nate and Phillip back again with another episode of the PokeTalk podcast. What's going on?
Well, not too much besides apparently just getting completely enamored by Attack on Titan. That's pretty much been what's consuming me in the last few weeks. So, I've obviously watched the first season way back when. In fact, I watched, I think, the first season like 3 times. But I'm finally watching it from the beginning all the way to the very end. And it's kind of misery porn just a little bit, maybe a little bit. That doesn't mean it's still good as hell. Like, it's some of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's on my list to watch. I never got into it. I tried one time, but now that it's all been done, it's just been sitting on my list for years, and yeah, I need to get on that. But you should watch Free Ren. I don't know if you
That's pretty good. I've
that,
seen the first 16 or 17 episodes. I watched it. I watched it from the very beginning because I was hearing a lot of good things about it, and then the episodes were coming out sequentially, and I was on a slower point. It was like when she was trying to like capture that bird. It was around then, and it was coming out like every week, and I just kind of got like, well, it's kind of a lull, and I just couldn't get into it. So I'm gonna finish the first season, see what happens, because not much has really happened yet. And I know it's not supposed to be your typical anime based on the writing, but like I'm still expecting something else to happen. So to move the story
there's
forward.
something big that's happening soon, but even it's not like intense, heavy combat type stuff. It's more of
it's
a
not
sentimental anime, but
yeah, that's kind of what I got, and I mean that's not a bad thing. It just felt like there was there. I'm not expecting it to be like a battle it out sort of thing, but I expect there to be something more than just like a feeling of being whelmed and feeling good.
Yeah.
Like
it does give you just enough combat where you're like, dang, I want some more, but
yeah,
I think that's a good thing that they don't overdo it too. So
and not every. I'm glad you're seeing animes that don't necessarily fit your typical mold, and that's what's made Frieren stick out. And in my opinion, that's also what made Attack on Titan stand out, because it's a show that doesn't really dive too much into anime cliches, anime antics. You don't see it. And that's the first show that I really saw with anime, how it really pushed the emotion of what a character is feeling based on the significant art around the character's eyes to, indicate expression of emotion, and just how many subtle nuance things were happening with actions that are pushing the story, things that you missed the first time, and just small things, small details. It's like, I don't understand what that's supposed to be, and you find out later and later, piece by piece, and that's how well written it is and how well written the main character is. I haven't seen a character as written as well as Eren so far. I'm only on episode 74 since Walter White.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion on it, though. But
we're all entitled to our opinions.
But if you don't have Attack on Titan in your top 20 animes, I can't take your list seriously. Maybe even top 10. I'm sorry, but it's true. It's just, you cannot like the themes and you cannot like the feeling and all that, but the writing speaks for itself.
Yeah. But let's get to talking to Pokemon.
Yeah. Back on the subject.
Yeah, I don't think we ever got on the subject, but yeah. Official Pokemon news here.
Okay, all right.
I guess the first thing, media-wise, you kind of brought it up there, like there's going to be an official TCG mini YouTube series featuring Terry Crews. It's like, okay.
President Comancho himself.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And
yeah.
Seems like they're trying to get a lot of more attention on new players starting the game. Obviously with this mini-series, but around Worlds, they also did a show where they like traveled around in the bus with this Pikachu, and I think they called it the Trainer Tour. And it was like 2 hosts and a Pikachu. One of them being Andrew Mahone, who was actually he's Tricky Jim on Twitch and YouTube. He's been a competitive player for a very long time, and I guess Pokemon picked him up to do stuff like this. But yeah, you could watch that on Prime Video and Roku. So I need to check that out. They basically travel around, talk to competitive trainers, and like why they love Pokemon. So it's pretty chill. I think it's like 8 episodes, and they follow them all the way up to Worlds and leading up to that. So pretty cool little series. Pretty excited for the old Terry Crews one. See what he can bring to the table. He's pretty well known to be like, yeah, he's pretty well known to be like a gamer of sorts. So I don't know how he got into Pokemon, but yeah, pretty cool. I think it's
yeah, they're actually playing. I think it's awesome.
I think it's with Geek and Sundry, which I don't know all the people who are in that group or company, but they used to do a lot of D&D stuff, and I know they partnered with Critical Role, really popular, probably the most popular D&D creators. So yeah, should be pretty solid stuff. They're going to feature special surprise TCG live players. Fans can tune into each episode to find out more. It's going to be Terry Crews, Jacob Batalon, and Abigail Breslin for the first 3 episodes. Not sure about all those names, or don't really know all those names, but yeah, should be pretty cool. Anxious to see what they do. They do seem like they're starting to, like get a little more out there with like the content stuff they should have been doing already, but it feels like they're real slow with it, but it feels like in about 5 years or so, we're just going to have a plethora of all these Pokemon media avenues. But it's like, they're still doing it weird. Like a YouTube channel with that stuff would do great. Why make it a mini series? Like they do this all the time with their Pokemon shorts or their mini series. They'll release like 3 episodes, as little as 3 episodes sometimes, and then never do that again. It's like, come on, just keep going.
I feel like sometimes they venture into avenues and they get market data on whatever it is, and then they reassess their option, but then it don't market or whatever data they have, and it's like we're gonna do that. But we've already kind of seen. It's funny that you mentioned like all the different media avenues of Pokemon. I think we're already there. I think we're already there. That there's already a major split amongst multiple media aspects of Pokemon. But I think as our generations get older, I think you're going to see that divide more evident. And then you're going to have all these other influencers pop up, and it's just going to become more saturated and just so dense of being able to find this and that, So
yeah, like they're
pretty interesting going down the road.
Mini series of like all the Pokemon stuff. It's like some of their, for an adult Pokemon fan, like all of their mini series is probably some of the best content they have. I'm talking about the Pokemon Chronicles or Pokemon Origins, Pokemon Generations, Evolutions. I think they made Twilight Wings, and then they made one in 2022 called Hisuian Snow. Like those series are more geared towards the older fan base, a little more mature, a little more like sentimental, and like the Hisuian Snow, for example. I think it's this boy who can't remember if he gets like kidnapped or gets lost in the woods by this Zora, and like he guides him back home or something like that. I might be totally chopping this up, but something along the lines of that. And it's like a lot more artistic. They do these in different art styles, and yeah, all it has is 3 episodes that are like 6 minutes each.
Weren't there hints of like blood or a fight at the end of that one?
Maybe. Yeah,
I know which one you're talking about. I just thought it was like, oh shit, there's like hints. It was either fight or a blood or something like that. I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, or like a beat up Zora or something like that. But
yeah, like they actually showed the effects of not just getting just like a little, cartoony little bandage on you.
Yeah. But yeah, they're always a lot more mature and like the stories a little more detailed. Um, but it's kind of like free reign. They just give you a little taste and then they stop. Like, I think the biggest one might be Pokemon Generations, which was like 18 episodes. Um, but yeah, they usually are like less than 10 episodes and no more than 20 minutes, usually 5 to 10 minutes. It's like, come on. Like, what are you doing? Why'd you even fund this? Like, just keep it going. It's like you did so little that it's like, this is just like a little passion project in the office. Like, how small is their media team creating this stuff if they're just
Well,
pumping out these little things?
sometimes I feel like Pokemon's really in tune with their fan base. Other times I feel like they have no idea what their fan base really, really wants. And that's not necessarily, well, I mean, you need to have some idea, right? But there's so many different types of clicks now and interests and hobbies within Pokemon that as you see this more different content, you kind of might stray from the path of what you think you should do. It's like going this, and that, and there's so many different avenues. You can't just focus on something in front of you, if that makes sense. Sometimes if you do too much, and that's interesting, like you try all these different things, but if you never pursue it, it just things don't stick. Things can't take off. Things can't spiral from there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I feel like, yeah, they're really in touch with the fan base. They know what people want, but they're really smart and hesitant to, like, fully give in. They want to be methodical and smart about it. I think they are, but I think they're being way too conservative. Like, they're scared that something might happen. And at this point, I don't think, no matter what they do, if they have 5 shows going continuously, like, people will absorb it. It's just too big now. People want more of that stuff, and they're like, give us more, and it's like,
Well,
here's another mini series that's only 5 episodes, and they're amazing.
well,
It's like, great, give us more, nothing.
I mean, I'm still waiting for a more like the mainline Pokemon series is great, right? It gets kids interested. And now they're making it to where it's a little bit to where they have parents can actually tolerate it and watch it. I only watched a little bit of the newest one, but it was so far the writing for the few episodes I saw looked to be pretty decent overall compared to most of the previous seasons. Like each season seems like it's getting better and better now for the last few eras. Um, but I would like to see something a little bit more entertainment media wise. It's this untapped bubble that they just beating around the bush on what they want to do. And you would think after seeing the success of like the Mario movie, right, that they would kind of want to do something more. Even the Detective Pikachu movie was technically a hit, even by the budget with all the media marketing. They still made a decent amount of money on it.
Yeah.
So I'm just surprised they haven't ventured further into that because it is literally they can make live action stuff. I know they're very touchy about their brand, and you can make a live action show without having to show nudity and sex and blood. Be successful. I mean, you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think so, that they would just tap into it a little more. I think they finally got the TCG side hammered out. Took them a couple years to get that down, so now things are running smooth there. So now I think they're starting to tap into like the media side. The last couple worlds, we've seen kind of an explosion of like coverage. Still nothing like a normal event would have. But they're doing more live streams. They're doing more on the floor stuff. It's
They're
just
enhancing their marketing.
so slow.
I feel like they're enhancing their marketing, especially tapping into that younger base. I feel like that's really what you're seeing. I
Yeah.
think that's a good thing because it builds it up over time, right? Hypes it up like a big old event, like it becomes a thing that can catch fire into mainstream, eventually, or that's kind of, I think, your hope to become this big, huge event that happens that that gets a lot of media attention, that a lot of people pay attention to your product.
Yeah.
And I think that's the idea that they're trying to do. They're trying to build that up, get it bigger on their own. They're trying to, like, the stuff like the National you see. I know it's with like sports cards and the Fanatic show. You see stuff like that, and I feel like they're trying to do that with Worlds, but even bigger.
Yeah, they're not even near that Fanatics Fest that happened, and that was the first year of Fanatics Fest, and they went all out. Like they knew how to do it, and it's like, why doesn't Pokemon know how to do that too? It's like, I don't know, it's just crazy to me, like the amount of, I want to say, wasted opportunity, but obviously they're doing fine no matter how slow they go.
They got the bag.
Yeah, they got the bag. And the slower you go, almost like the more demand you want. Like if they just rolled all this stuff out, when everything went crazy, it'd be kind of like the sets are facing now. Like we're wanting that next big thing, and it's kind of lackluster. So yeah, I understand why they're doing it. Very methodical, but it's frustrating sometimes. Some other news, we do have the winners of the 2024 TCG illustration contest and the runner-ups. We have, let's see, the $5,000 grand prize winner is Kazumi Minami from Japan. Then we have a $3,000 best standard card illustration is Arco Virat from the United States, probably a screen name. It's first one was a Pikachu, really nice artwork of Pikachu yawning. Second one there was a Feraligatr swimming, almost like a real simplistic artwork with some Magikarps in the background. And then the $3,000 best EX card winner is Anderson from Japan, which is, let me see, I have to blow it up here a little bit because the EX cards are smaller there. Looks like a Toxicity playing a lightning bolt as the guitar.
I'm whelmed. I'm whelmed.
Just whelmed.
Whelmed. The Pikachu is pretty cool, though. That has this like realistic effect, but then if you look closer, it's got like, I don't know, it's got like a painting feel too. Very interesting how they were able to accomplish that. That one deserves to be the winner after you kind of look at those things. And I do like the style of the Feraligatr. They went for a different style, and I can respect it, and I can respect that they chose a unique style as a winner. Although it's kind of not my favorite point of view and like vantage point, but I do respect the style.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
I was interested to see that they actually got like trophies for this thing, and it's like full on metal plaques, like with Charizard on it. If you guys haven't seen these, please go to Poke Beach and check those out. They are pretty crazy.
They are definitely better than the Burger King medals.
Yeah, it's essentially like a giant size Burger King version. It's like an actual card size instead of like the smaller size, and it's got Charizard on there. It says Pokemon Illustration Contest. Comes in like a little nice box. So yeah, pretty cool. There's a lot of cool runner-up artworks that they have on there. So yeah, go check it out if you're interested in all the cool artwork. That's pretty unique. And this year's contest was to draw artwork capturing magical Pokemon moments. Don't know if Pikachu sitting on the sidewalk yawning is quite that magical, but it is a great looking card and deserves a win. I'm sure a lot of these deserve a win. It just depends on your, opinion and art style, but that one's definitely a good one. So let's see what else we got as far as small news. We got the TCG Pocket, which releases for us on October 30th. So we're about a month away from that. It has soft launched in New Zealand, and the game is geo-locked. According to PokeBeach, apparently you can get a VPN over there to play it over there. Yeah. They don't necessarily say spoof, but like just VPN. If you're showing your network over there, maybe you can get it. I'll have to try that because I have a VPN on my phone and I could show that I'm in New Zealand, but I don't know if you actually have to be there or actually spoof there somehow to download it, but maybe I'll try that or just wait. I'm not that eager to try it, but a lot of people starting to make videos and uploading their pools. Obviously, we got some really unique artworks. One of my favorites is Charmander sitting in the woods looking up at the stars.
That's a good one.
Got a crazy looking, cartoony looking Charizard. He almost looks like Aerodactyl in that Charizard EX full art. Don't you think?
Well, they definitely did this. This art is very similar to what they've done before with like the Charizard EX, but yeah, he kind of does with the way his wings are. But I also think it's unique because it shows his whole wings out.
Yeah.
From that perspective.
Got a Komiya Golbat.
Yes, I saw this. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is one of his better artworks, in my opinion. And
it's chasing that when the game comes out.
I mean, you can't get a hard copy of it. I can't put it in my binder. What do? Just take a photo and print it out?
Yeah. Just collect it on your phone, digital collection.
Screenshot print.
I'm trademarking the name DC. We're going to be saying DC when this game releases for digital collection. Oh yeah, I got that in my DC. Gengar, new Gengar card.
No, it's good. I mean, a lot of these look good. Dragonite is definitely a gorgeous one. That one, if that one were a real card, dude, that one would be, wow, hundreds of dollars. Like, I think that artwork, I mean, again, this is my opinion, but that artwork is stunning.
I think the Alakazam, too, that's drawn kind of like the Greninja style.
Yeah, a little bit.
Gyarados, he's like attacking, busting out of the ocean, like roaring up a hyper beam.
You got Misty for your Sims.
Yep, you got Misty, you got Koga, probably one of the coolest male characters, and of course Giovanni.
Pretty cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It's like you seriously have, just with this small sample size, Porygon, one of my favorite Pokemon.
Even Mew. Mew is a unique one. That's really unique.
Yeah. I mean, just on this article and showing off the cards, you literally have about 10 plus cards that are the quality of like the chase potentials of a normal set.
This would be the set of the year in all time set of its era if they actually had this in a hard copy.
Yeah, and if you look, like, even scroll down a little bit, Zapdos EX.
Yeah,
like,
I saw that one.
The Pikachu, and not to mention the Slowpoke. Like, they literally took the Slowpoke art from Fossil, like the most basic looking art there is, and like extended it and added more Slowpoke in it. Like, dude.
This would be a set of the year. Like,
I don't know if I'm going to go all in on TCG Pocket, but I might try to. I might try to complete this first set at least.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are you? It's gonna. I'm sure trading's available, isn't it? I haven't looked at that far.
I would think. And then there's this currency in there called like Pack Point Exchange too, where I wonder if you could like just buy the cards you're missing. But it's really cool. I mean, I'm kind of all down for a digital collection. I'm not going to be actively buying packs on here, but you bet your butt every day I'm going to be opening, and I'll have a digital collection on top of my normal collection.
What do these stars mean?
I'm not going to be going crazy for all the new sets, but I'll be collecting the cards if there's any trading and all that.
I mean, what will be interesting is if you'll have a market like eBay after so long. If there is no market and you just got to pull it, which I could see that. But if so, Pokemon will control the market price, obviously. What would be interesting is if it's a really, really rare card and it's actually really very valuable, how many people would be willing to pay for something like that to have on their collection? Because there
Yeah.
is going to be people, and I know you mentioned down the road, like a lot of people in the digital world, and I do think that'll be a possibility for certain people. But right now, if you have artwork like this, imagine a card that's comparable or equal to or better than the Moonbryon, and you have it exclusively on this app.
Yeah.
What would that do?
Yep. That's the thing. Like, that could definitely be possible if they like NFTized it, like where they only had a limited print run, quote unquotes, for
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know. They said here's the digital packs. Everyone's guaranteed this many packs. Um, but yeah, it's I don't know if they could do that somewhere or somehow. I could see that happening. Otherwise, these are just going to be like $1 card, like kind of like Pokemon Go shinies that you can buy on eBay. Even the more rare ones are like $5. So it's like, yeah, give me $2. I'll trade you this digital card.
Well, I think some of the event ones are a little more than that, but yeah. Um,
Even
I
like
mean,
an exclusive old event. I mean, they're still only like $50. I think last I haven't checked in a long time, but
yeah, I mean, neither have I. I forget. I was looking for something on Pokemon Go, and I searched on eBay, and first thing that popped up are like buying the shinies,
yeah,
and it is what it is, right? I mean, if there's a market where people are willing to pay for it, then there's gonna be
yeah,
a market for somebody willing to sell it.
yeah. I just don't know like how easy it would be to collect the set. I know in stuff like Magic Arena, like you can quote unquote kind of complete the set, but what people do, they try to get play sets and so they can build decks. So I don't know how good the deck building aspect will be for TCG Pocket, but um, if they really fleshed out the collection portion and did it by set where people could like collect the set, and if there was a way to get packs and cards besides just opening your pack every single day or spending money, like I think that would keep it going. Because if you just open the pack every day and you're like, "Ooh, I got that card. Okay, see you tomorrow." If like you could win points or something by winning battles to exchange that for more packs or certain cards, that would be really fun.
Well, it
Um,
looks like if you just look at this photo on the Poke Beach, like you mentioned, pack point exchange, but it appears to have what is a cost
yeah,
of some sort, and it has a pack next to it. I assume there's points you get by giving money, and that's what you use to buy, right? Isn't that what you would think?
yeah, or you could win points.
Some way if you do battles or something.
Magic Arena actually does have a good system where like they have like I don't know, a mythic card and a rare card or wild card, I think they call them. They may have changed the name, but every pack you open, you get a point towards like a rare card. And every 6 packs you open, you get a rare card, and you can turn that rare card in for any rare card you want in the entire game. So I could
That's pretty
see
neat.
like them implementing a system like that for like every pack you open, you get a certain amount of pack points. Every battle you win, you get a certain amount of pack points. Um, Something like that would be cool to where you could spend those points into buying singles essentially. So it'd basically be like trading in your extras for singles. It'd be really cool if you could like delete your extras for points at like, a very low amount, but
Hmm.
it'd be almost like trading your bulk away. So,
Well, I will definitely be playing the shit out of this app. Like I already know it.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be playing Go. It's gonna make me play Go a lot less, which sucks because it's gonna come out around the same time as the Halloween event. Well, I guess it'll be towards the end of it, but historically, the Halloween event has been some of the best events annually for Pokemon and some of the most fun. Um, so we'll see. We'll see which one I end up playing more.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely. This will be just kind of sitting down at the office every
Yep,
once in a while. When you think about it, open your pack,
that's it.
and yeah, I might get into the deck building a little bit, but if
It's
it's
like it's
just
like
if you don't get anything for winning the battles, I'm not gonna do that.
yeah,
And I'm not gonna do that in the long run either. Like it'll just be something fun to do, but
yeah. It's like cranking a lever every day on a slot machine, just seeing if you want
getting that
one free spin.
dopamine.
Yeah, want one free spin just to see if you hit it.
Just one more day. One more day.
One more. I almost caught it.
You can wake up and check your Pokemon sleep first thing in the morning. You can go play Pokemon Go on your way to work. When you get to work, you can sit at your desk, open TCG Pocket, play some games. Go home, play Pokemon Go, set up your Pokemon sleep. They got you hooked on
play
everything
your
now.
play your Pokemon Scarlet and Violet when you get
Yeah.
home.
Yep.
Play before you cook dinner. Play some of your Pokemon Cafe.
Bitch about not having anything to watch because they won't make any more limited series. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like this is where I would put my Pokemon series anthology if I had one.
Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty solid. It's not gonna be as crazy as Go, but yeah, it'll be
They'll have a big
very
hype behind
popular.
it. Yeah, it absolutely will.
I guess the last thing to really talk about is the big whale in the room. Don't exactly know how this will relate to Pokemon, but as we talk about it, I'm sure it'll come up. But this has to do with Magic the Gathering again, and something they do not do very well. And that is just generally not run their game off a cliff. Their physical in-person game. Um, this has been an ongoing thing for Wizards of the Coast. Their shady practices with Magic the Gathering and their cash grabbing and their greed, especially over the last 5 years with the secret layers and special products and special booster boxes, and they'll have like a draft booster to play and then like a special booster and then a collector's booster where you get better pull rates. Literally like 5+ products for every release. I think they toned that down a little bit. The last couple of years they've been releasing better products, really focused on Commander in the last few. And in 2020, they released a Commander Legends set, which had a Jeweled Lotus card. And it's been, they've been releasing stuff like that. They've been releasing brand new cards that have a really big impact on the game. Like it's pretty much a staple in the Commander format. It's basically like if Pokemon were to, release a Charizard, something that's very iconic that is used in pretty much every deck somehow. It was that good. Stuff like this, there's like artifacts that don't have to go with your deck that can pretty much be thrown in any deck. And this is like one of those. It's just one of those across the board everyone's going to play with. So obviously, pretty expensive card.
Mm-hmm.
There was another iconic card. What is it? I think it was Mana Crypt. It's another one of those cards, but it has been around for a very long time. It's just always been a staple card that's been pretty pricey. And obviously another very expensive card. Everyone uses it in their deck. You're pretty much a disadvantage if you don't use these cards because whoever you're playing against will have them. So yeah, there's a price point. So the reason why Magic has been focused on printing new cards like this or reprinting cards is to get the cost down. Obviously, it's not good for collectors, but Magic has never really been a collector thing. That's why they've been making these secret layer products and these special, products for the collectors. And then they've just been making reprints for the game itself because a lot of people feel like they're priced out of certain decks and a certain competitive level because they can't afford the cards that they have to have just to compete. So Magic has been doing a really good thing in reprinting these cards, getting them down, um, for a reasonable level. Then, out of the blue, they drop a ban list. On that ban list is that Jeweled Lotus and the Mana Vault. And yeah, people are not happy. It's pretty bad. This is basically something that has been in the works, and it's just like Mana Crypt. I think I said Mana Vault, but it's Mana Crypt. This has very obviously been a plan. They're very corporate. They're very business and money driven, and there's no doubt that this has been planned in years ahead. So why are they putting the Jeweled Lotus as the pack art of the Commander product that came out so soon? Essentially, people are accusing them of, and it's pretty obvious that they knew this was coming. They used this as a last ditch effort to pump one of their cards and hey, look at this new card, it's in this set, let's throw it on the box, let's throw it on the package, and then very soon after just banned it. All the cards came crashing down so hard. It's lost 50% of its value, at least the Mana Crypt has. Let me check the Jeweled Lotus. But these are cards that are just actively being bought all the time too, because new players are coming in all the time, and then they just freaking release this and it just tanks like crazy. So Jeweled Lotus has also lost 43% immediately. There's been stories of people immediately going to their LGS and selling their cards, and then LGS is banning them from the store because they didn't know of the price change. And yeah, people are just flocking to the LGSs to sell these as soon as possible to get them off their hands before they crashed. And yeah, a lot of people are kind of hurting for this news, but it just goes to show you can't trust any of these for-profit companies, which is pretty much anybody who makes TCGs. Can't think of one that's not, business oriented. Wizards of the Coast just happens to be one of the more, American capitalistic ones that are particularly greedy. So yeah, what are your thoughts? Just overall, really messed up to me. It doesn't really affect me because I don't buy new Magic cards. I have decks that I have had for a long time, and I have some of these high caliber cards in there, but I also buy proxies. I buy literal fake cards to just have in my deck because the only people I play with is casual at home. Can't do that obviously if you're playing in tournaments, but it's a lot of people over the last 5 years have been going that route. I've been seeing a lot of comments screw this, I'm just going to buy some Chinese proxies. You could buy a card like Jeweled Lotus that might be $100. You could buy a proxy for $5. And all it is cardboard with text on it. So there's no collecting aspect really in Magic that's appealing to me or most people. It's all about playability. So, why not? I've told people screw that, just buy proxies. What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it sounds, based on that perspective, obviously, it sounds pretty skeezy. But I really don't know enough about Magic to make much more of an opinion about that. I know I can kind of see what the prices were of this card a few weeks ago. It looks like a couple hundred. So the people, it sucks for those people that decided to buy, but ultimately, there's people that buy at the high all the time in Pokemon. We
Yeah.
call those people influencers.
Yeah, and I get like
Um,
you're buying magic cards to like play with and like have forever
yeah,
and you don't care about collecting, but yeah, it does happen with Pokemon too, like with modern sets. Like everyone knows that's been around a while that, you know, the week of the new release is not the time to buy.
people do
And
it anyways.
everyone knows the first, PSA 10 that hits the market is not what you want to buy. But yeah, people do it anyways and people can spend their money however they want, but yeah, it's pretty brutal out there for Magic, and Wizards of the Coast also have and create D&D. They just released a new updated player's handbook for D&D that they released this month actually. So now they're going through D&D books and like kind of refreshing and reprinting all those because 2014's when the last version came out, and so now they can go through all those books and make money that way. So they're just very corporate grind, and it's unfortunate that a game so many people love has felt that. And yeah, I love Magic for what it is. I love playing it, but there is no way. I there was a set. It was called like oh there was a popular set. It's like a region in the game called a Zendikar, or a plane, as you will, and it was a very popular set, kind of an old school set for newish players, but it was a very well loved set. It had like one of the most expensive Planeswalker cards in it, and they essentially, this is I want to say 2014, 15, maybe even later than that, but they basically created a set where they went back to that plane, and I know you don't know any of these names, but I had a Tormagoyf, which is one of those very iconic cards that are very expensive. At the time, it was going for like 120 bucks, I think. And I traded that into my LGS for a booster box plus like a stack of packs of the new Zendikar Rising set. And people were like, I posted online. I was like, hey, look what I got. Oh, dang. Actually, this is 2020 when that released. That's kind of crazy. I was thinking it was way farther back than that. I don't know what I'm thinking. But yeah, people were saying like, oh my God, like that's crazy. Tarmogoyf's always going to be like an iconic card. And, it's like they're going to reprint this to the ground. Like they kind of became clear to me at that point that they're just reprinting stuff. And you can buy Tarmogoyf right now. Let me see. They've had like a bunch of reprintings. But let's see. Tarmogoyf you can buy for like 30 bucks. Here's a remastered one that is basically a reprint you can buy for 15 bucks. So yeah. Don't go chasing magic cards for the rarity. Here's the literal Tarmogoyf that I sold for, or traded in for a booster box back then, and you can buy that for 16 bucks now. Pretty crazy. Times change. Don't trust the corporate greed.
Ultimately, at the same time, people have to realize that these are companies, and their main point is to make a profit.
Yeah.
Now, I think Pokemon still has a lot of trust amongst its fan base, but you're now dealing with what, 4 to 5 years now of issues with Wizards of the Coast or whoever with dealing with the management that runs these companies, between the fan base and the people that run the companies. There's a pretty clear aspect that they view everybody as numbers only.
Yeah. And another thing that I think we're kind of #blessed on with Pokemon is like
Hashtag blessed.
people care about the artwork. And like that's what people collect. People literally collect just based off what the card looks like. Some people do that in Magic too, but like a lot of these Tarmogoyf reprints, there's the OG artwork, then there's like a new artwork, and then there's like an even newer artwork with some of the reprints. And then on top of that, you have the foil versions, you have the special versions, and whatever. People don't really like cherish one art more than the other as much as they do like the play. Like they just want the card in their deck to play with it. Because here's one that came out in Ultimate Masters. It was like a reprint. You know, you could buy it for $14, but the special foil one that you can get as a box topper is $30, and it has like a little extended art. So Magic does do like extended art or borderless arts and stuff like that, but people don't really care about that stuff. It's all about the playability. And also, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, I feel like it's mostly playability, but also the artwork there, because people kind of have that element to Pokemon where they're, you know, they just want an OG art Blue Eyes. So Magic kind of does it where it's like all in playability. Yu-Gi-Oh kind of does it where it's kind of a playability and artwork mix. And Pokemon does it where it's like basically artwork. There's not really a reprint culture in Pokemon unless they do like a special product and they reprint like base set Charizard again. And even if they do that, like base set Charizard is not playable in the current format, so people aren't scrambling for those cards and making those cards crash. So yeah, it's just a weird #blessed situation we have with Pokemon, where it's more art based and they can pretty much, even if they reprint the same exact card, drive the price down to someone who just wants it in their deck to play with. That literally doesn't matter to the collector because it's all about the art and the style. So I don't know why we've become that way, but it's a very nice thing to have. That's where Yu-Gi-Oh struggles, because they'll reprint the same card, same art, you know, to infinity. And
beyond.
You just look up how many versions of the Legends of Blue Eyes art and Blue Eyes there are.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's been reprinted so many times and just over and over again. And like they're playable. Like they've done a good job with Yu-Gi-Oh as a game to like keep those cards relevant. Whereas Pokemon hasn't. It's like, oh, those cards are old. They're no longer relevant, if I can talk. Whereas Yu-Gi-Oh, like, a Blue Eyes is still needed in decks to, like, fuse monsters today and, like, stuff like that. So Yu-Gi-Oh's done a good job of that. And Magic has that same problem where, like, they created a good card 20 years ago, and that card is still good and still sought after. So they had these skyrocketing prices, and it incentivized them to like reprint the card, and people went crazy for it. But now we're getting to the point where they've reprinted enough stuff where it's like, okay, now where do we go? And I think they're trying to ban some of these so they can like make new cards that people are excited about. So instead of like reprinting the expensive cards and getting people to buy those, they're like, okay, well, let's just ban those cards and then we'll make a new card that's kind of like it. And then people will buy that now. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where they go, but I just can't stand Magic products. I have a buddy that I think you know too, who he buys like a lot of secret layers, and yeah, it's basically like a D23 Lorcana box. You get like a box with like 5 cards or whatever in it with special arts, and that's it. People buy it just to play with it. Waste of money, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of my rant on Magic. I've gotten into Arena a couple times, but I've even stopped playing that. But anything else you want to talk about, or I think that's pretty much it for the episode for me.
I mean, I don't say too much, though. I was kind of going through the Pokemon Center as you were speaking, and they have a lot of cool stuff up with plushies. It looks like they have most of the Pokemon going on. They even have like all the forms of the Hivian, and I'm not gonna lie, they look pretty cool.
Nice. They do have the Halloween collection out, so if you guys are looking for Halloween stuff, jump over there. But
the Greavard sweater is pretty kicking.
All right, guess we'll end it there, and we'll see you in the next one, y'all. Peace.
Until next time, peace.